Sixers traveling to Chicago to take on the Bulls. And then in the nightcap at 10:30, can the Lakers win a basketball contest? They'll be playing the Nuggets in LA. And the Saturday primetime game. Wow. Two teams trying to figure it out. 8:30 on ABC, the three-letter network. The Celtics take on the Lakers. Every morning, come on, get up with the Get Up crew.
I'll be there.
Talking about LeBron James, and they'll be featuring Ryan
Later.
Russillo and his personalized pen. Tune in every morning. Coming to you live from Pier 17 in the South Street Seaport District and brought to you by Heineken. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. I've been saving this topic for you, Ryan. Your team,
my team,
the Boston Celtics, are in complete disarray. It's just gotten weird at this point. There's so much to discuss, but we will start with the latest game where they hosted James Harden and the Rockets. And, well, it didn't go great.
No, it was terrible. They were down almost 30.
But it really felt like, oh, okay, this is going to be, they make a statement. This is going to be the game. They figured it out. I really felt like that was going to happen. I know you play close attention to this team. You were at a game over the weekend. What's happening with the Boston Celtics?
They are really a team of individuals being led by somebody who isn't a leader. Now, I can look at Tatum certain nights and be like, you're not aggressive, that's on you. Jaylen Brown has been playing better, and they're closing with him now, but you've seen moments from the beginning of the year where you're like, what's the problem with you? Rozier hasn't been terrific. Marcus Smart still takes bad shots.
Marcus Smart?
Yeah. Horford is somebody that, you can't, your expectations have to be a certain level, even though I still love what he does, the whole thing. But I don't think it should all be on Kyrie as I go down the individuals on this thing, but Kyrie keeps making it worse. Like for somebody that sees in the mirror, he sees an intellectual. He sees somebody that has almost a greater understanding.
Yes.
Okay, that's how he kind of feels himself. Then he doesn't read the room at all. He doesn't read the locker room. He doesn't read the way his quotes infuriate the fan base. And so this thing that was always a little combustible and maybe not as good as it was supposed to be has been a disaster since the All-Star break, and they don't seem to have the personalities that can get this thing going back collectively.
Well, you mentioned Kyrie and sort of how he's approached this downslide that they've been on. Let's listen to Kyrie after the game in his post-game comments.
How tough was that one for you guys tonight?
It's tough.
What happened in the first half?
Just didn't play well.
Kyrie, in your career, have you ever gone through anything like this?
What are you going to do to turn it around? Just play better.
Kyrie, you said you want to be the leader of this team. What do you have to do to kind of turn this thing around as a leader?
Just got to play better.
Can you take anything out of that fourth quarter comeback?
I didn't result in the win, so, just got to play better.
Kyrie, do you think you guys can come together on this road trip?
We'll see.
Okay.
When we get the cue for 20, by the way, I'm like, we still have 20 more seconds of this.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Here's my question. It's like, I understand you're frustrated, you lost, your team's been losing, there's a lot of focus on you, things are bad. If I lose rock, paper, scissors, I'm not the same for 15 seconds. I understand, okay? We do not need to act like...
Are you playing a lot of rock, paper, scissors?
I do. I'm very good at it, too. I've read books about it. But here's the thing. Well, I Googled it once. He knows how this is going to be viewed. He knows this is going to be played on shows like this and discussed. If he wants to be a leader, is this how you're supposed to behave?
I can get it if it's a blip. I can get it if it's just, hey, I'm bummed out, we got worked. And that late fourth quarter comeback doesn't mean anything. You know what it means? It means the other team knows they don't have to try as hard because they're up 20. Almost every team makes some kind of comeback, and they were trying to do it late in the fourth quarter. But there's too much of this. There's too much of this every single time. He's a different guy. And I think the team just looks at him going, you're not that old, all right?
No.
And you're acting like you're this sage, wise old man that can show us the way when there's a lot of evidence that guys don't necessarily love playing with him. So this thing is getting uglier and uglier. And if they end up, how about this? What if the Pacers follow the fourth spot, the Celtics are in that 5, and the Celtics lose to an Oladipo-less Pacers team in the first round.
See, if they lose to the Raptors, the Bucks, or the Sixers,
They should lose to those teams.
I get it. Like, everybody gets it. But if you lose to the Pacers in the first round, and they could potentially lose to the Pacers while hosting the first round as well, that's indicative of real problems. And we brought about Kyrie and his attitude, and post game I get it, but let's just listen to Kyrie as he enters the arena before the game.
I really can't. I'm not gonna miss any of this. I don't care if it is.
Okay, now I'm not going to do the media thing and be like, oh, that definitely means he's leaving Boston. But it's just an odd thing to say. Like, when I'm done playing, I'm not going to miss any of this. Like, who are you being bothered by? What is he even discussing?
But this is a bigger thing that's going on with the NBA and how miserable everybody seems to be. The top stars in this league all seem to be unhappy. I know we're going to get that a little bit later, but I don't want to do that either. Like, I didn't watch that the first time. I saw the clickbait version of it where I go, did he really do this? And then I listen and go, you know what? This could be just him annoyed that he has to do some appearance before a game's about to start. I was thinking that too. Like, there might be something we're getting this out of context or something. I can totally give him a pass on this if it weren't for other examples of him just kind of turn. Like, this was somebody that was asking the home crowd before the season started, if you'll have me, I'll re-sign.
It's a great point.
Right? If you'll have me, I'd love to stick around
for the
long term. And then we get to Thanksgiving and things aren't as good. And then not that long ago, when the KD stuff starts coming up, when Davis isn't traded, and then everybody around the trade deadline's like, what does this mean for you for the offseason? He just snapped. He just couldn't do it anymore.
You're talking about October. Like, we are like 10 days separated from him saying, I like us against any team in a 7-game series. Like, that was like a week and a half ago.
But see, I think sometimes he's trying to do I got to say the right thing, and then there's other days where he wants to be real, and I'll respect real other than lies all the time. But it's an unhappy group, and you watch them play. There is no flow. You know, when basketball is great, and we see this version of them, the Golden State Warriors, or all the teams that we grew up with. There's a real synchronicity of the whole thing, and when you watch the Celtics, you can see on most possessions guys fighting what they're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
And it's even weird because there was a stretch kind of from December 1 on, they were a better team than you thought. If you look at some of their stats.
They won 9 of 10 and real quick, beating good teams left and right. Here's a question for you, which I love asking my Boston friends. Is what percentage out of 100 do you look at Brad Stevens and be like, maybe he's not what we thought he was? Like, how much do you doubt Brad Stevens? I want a number 0 to 100.
So 0 is no doubt, 100 is great doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5%.
Still not there yet.
No, this to me.
A little bit.
No, this is with
it's
Brad.
His job.
This is the person that doesn't like Brad Stevens, or this is the Spurs fan. You know, when you started talking about what look at the teams that he dragged to high seeds in the playoffs. Those are bad. Here's my. Brad Stevens is a really good coach. Okay. This year, it's not working out. That is possible. Just because it's not working out this year doesn't mean that everything we thought about Brad Stevens and bringing Butler to 2 finals, somehow,
I'm really
like the resume's not
fraudulent. Troll Bill Simmons is what I'm doing. I'm just trying to troll Bill. What do you think? Do you think he's not? You think he's like overrated, sneaky overrated now? I would say, if you think about it, the function of the head coach, right? They don't build the roster. That's the general manager. Okay, they don't make the baskets. Those are the players. The function of the head coach is to put the players in a position to succeed, to change the chemistry, to change people's minutes, to tweak what they can tweak. Strategy.
He's
minutes.
Changed the lineup.
He's
changed the closing lineup. He shut some guys down. I mean, he had to just give up on Gordon Hayward at one point.
At some point, isn't it his job to kind of like make the best dish he can with the ingredients that he has?
I think that's the simple way of looking at it, but I've just come back at you with a question. Do you believe it is possible that a great coach can have a nice roster and it just doesn't work out?
Of course.
So I think that's what we have right now.
But that's just rational.
So where are you on 0 to 100? Oh, you don't want me to be rational?
Oh, yeah.
I was scheduled to be the rational guest this week.
It's just rational, like logical thinking. We don't do that. We're media guys.
Like, Priscilla, what's wrong with you?
I'm at like 20%. I'm at like 20%. Like,
what does 20% mean then?
I'm just like, I was at 0% going into this season.
Yeah,
I was like, Brad Stevens is the next Greg Popovich.
Right.
Obviously. But now I'm like, he's got the most talent he's ever had, and he's got the worst results.
Yeah, look, I'm not arguing, but I'm just still in the I'm not going to think it was a mirage, and that's the stuff I kind of hear. Like I just
Oh,
the
yeah.
guy
I mean, I
that
can't
goes
do
like,
that. I can't do
oh,
that.
you know, you guys thought Brad Stevens was good. Be like, well, what'd you think? He was terrible the whole time, and now you're right.
7 away from
Yeah.
going to the finals.
Right, with Jalen Brown and
With
Jason Tatum and Terry
being
Rozier,
the leader of the
Right.
team. It's hard to forget.
It also
that.
speaks to how much worse the East really. Like there are certain times where I go, man, the East was even worse than I thought it was, considering how good it is at the top now.
Well, as a Dicey Knicks fan, I'm like, is Kyrie really like the savior?
What did you think of Kyrie?
franchise?
Okay, when Kyrie forced his way out, wanted out of Cleveland, and now I have more compassion for him to wanting to do that than I initially did when we heard the story. When you thought of Kyrie with his own team, what did you think that team would be?
I thought they would be much better than this. I like Kyrie as a basketball player. You know what I mean? Like when he's actually on the floor, he's one of the best finishers. He's clutch. You can give him the ball at the end of the game. He gets you buckets. But there's a part of me that's just like, I don't know if it's worth it. And I feel the same way about Jimmy Butler too. Ryan, we had the worst ejection I've ever seen in an NBA game. We'll show it to you right after this.
Got to give the people